people in wheelchairs, but there are other kinds of disabilities that impact people's mobility. Like in my case, near total blindness, or people with severe breathing problems have difficulty walking much distance. So I have a few topics that I want to talk about: the parking spots that we have and how they could be improved or replaced, our curb cuts and ramps, one or two comments about parks, public toilets, and accessibility to buildings. Now that is a big issue. I just want to mention it very briefly. It's way beyond what I have done so far. So the first issue is our handicap parking spots. We have some really, really good ones in town. The one on the left is at the rear of the the breezeway that goes through the building where Dunkin' Donuts is located. The reason this one is so good is that it has space on the driver's side. So if the driver of a vehicle is the handicapped person, it's easy for them to get out of the vehicle. The space on the right-hand side is merely striped for no parking because it's the entrance to the breezeway. The one on the lower right is in front of Chesapeake Bank there, and that is an excellent parking spot because it's at a corner. It's right by a crosswalk that has a decent, although not perfect, curb cut. But the reason it's good to be on a corner is if a person is driving a wheelchair van that loads from the rear, they can get their chair on and off, which you can't do if you have another car parked behind you. So what I have here is an aerial map of Chestertown, and the red crosses are existing handicap parking spots. So you see we actually have quite a few. A lot of them have some problems, and the kind of magenta colored arrows are places that I want to mention where we have really great spots to potentially either replace some of the poorer ones or add more. And I would note that there is no handicap parking spot on High Street. Let me point that out if I can make this one. Yeah, it's not going to reach that far. There isn't any handicap spot on High Street between Cross Street and Spring Avenue, and there isn't any handicap spot currently on Cross Street anywhere actually between Maple Washington intersection and Cannon Street. Here are a couple of really bad handicap parking spots. These are both very close to each other on High Street, and they are located on either side of the crosswalk that goes across to the Stam building from approximately where the old newspaper office was, or Doug Ashley's real estate. And the problem with both of these is that the passenger door, so in my case I'm trying to get my husband out of a passenger side of the vehicle, you can't either open the door or then there's nowhere to step because there's a pole, or in the case on the left, a planting. I just wanted to mention that handicapped people need toilets too. And the only public one I know of that we have in town that's not in a business is the visitor center when it's open. Now, a lot of business owners may not know this, and I hope this is something that our new economic development person can bring to their attention, but the state, well, backing up a little bit, any building owner who would be willing to increase accessibility would be a huge benefit to everyone involved. And the state does have something called modification grants that provide funds to business owners for improving accessibility of their facilities. Something like 20% of the cost of the renovations, up to $16,000. But basically, I think that the more we can do to make Chestertown more appealing to more people, the better off we'll all be.